Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to a new video. Today I'm going to review The Vanishing Act of Esme Lennox by Maggie O'Farrell. I got this book at a secondhand warehouse and honestly I didn't know anything about it. I liked the cover and I read the back and I figured why not. I was not expecting this when I got it. Maggie O'Farrell actually wrote some very popular book recently. Don't remember. Something to do with Hamlet, something like that. And I had no idea it was the same person, but I don't know a lot of people that know this book, so I'm here to tell you that you should read it because I honestly think that it was just wonderful. So basically, one thing interesting about this book is that it's not divided into chapters or parts, anything like that. Basically, it's just text. And from time to time you have a break, like this one. You have a break between paragraphs, and you can call these breaks the end of a chapter and the beginning of another. But basically, we are trying to understand what happened to Esme Lennox. Esme was a girl in the 1930s. She was a young adult. And Esme was always the type of person to go against the flow. So she didn't behave like a lady. She didn't have the same aspirations as her older sister, Kitty. She was always just talking to herself and making up games and stories and imagining different scenarios. And her parents were concerned about her, but then at some point they just stopped caring. They just couldn't take her behavior anymore. So she didn't have the best relationship with her parents. But then we also follow Iris. Iris is Kitty's, Esme's sister, Kitty's granddaughter. And she has this boutique and a dog, and her life just seems like it's a great life, nothing to complain, just a really sort of simple life that so many of us would like to have. And one day she gets a call that her great aunt Esme needs to leave the hospital where she's been staying, and someone needs to go and pick her up. Thing is, Iris didn't know she had a great aunt named Esme. So basically we were trying to understand why Esme was institutionalized, what happened to her, and Iris is the one in charge right now of us trying to understand this, because she is as clueless as we are. I love it when we're experiencing things at the same time as characters in a book. It really feels like you are part of it. It makes me feel like a part of the book, more than just the reader. What's another thing interesting about this book, besides not having chapters or parts, is that, you know, in the middle of the text, when you're reading it, without any warning, the voices change. So maybe it's Iris talking, and then all of a sudden it's not Iris, it's Kitty, and then it's not Kitty anymore. Now Esme is talking, and now it's not Esme, it's Kitty again, and voices change so often and they just come out of nowhere. Was it difficult to read sometimes? It was. It's the type of book that you need to pay attention to. It's not the type of book that you can read while watching TV. You really need to sit with it because it could be somewhat confusing. And Kitty's character is the most complex one because she's not really here, unfortunately. She's dealing with dementia and she is in a home. She's not really aware of her surroundings, and so she gets a lot of events and facts and time periods mixed. She knows everything, but she doesn't know exactly the order, the chronological order of some events. I just think this is a great book. I was not expecting something like this when I first read it. I was not expecting to jump from one character point of view to another basically without any warning. The stress of trying to find out why Esme was at this institution for so long, the pressure, it's just, it builds up, and when you're reaching the end, it's just almost that you just can't, it's almost like you're in a hurry. You're reading it, but you really have to continue, you really have to turn the page, and that's what happens when it's just so well written. So I would highly recommend this book. I haven't read her most recent one. I know that a lot of people like it, and you know, it's been on Instagram and Goodreads and YouTube all over. Everybody has read that book. I haven't read it. I didn't even know it was the same person, honestly. Yeah, so I just wanted to talk about the 2 or 3 very specific things. I honestly don't consider these spoilers, but if you don't know if what I'm about to say is going to ruin your experience, maybe you should save this video for later, read the book and come back. I don't think it will, but just in case, I'm going to talk about specific things. Something that I really liked was the fact that Esme, as someone who's been basically in a hospital for 60 years, she's just very calm about everything, even after everything that happened to her. And she could have come out and tell Iris everything. She could have done that, but she didn't. She basically doesn't feel like it's worth talking about it until she needs to do something about it, which is different. One thing is for you to have the need to talk about it, to vent. The other is you feel like you need to do something to get some closure. And even though she needs to do that, she doesn't have the need to vent and tell everybody what happened. She could have done that. I think that her character is really interesting and just very intriguing. And I'm still wondering about what happened in the end, because it's not that explicit, and I think it's done on purpose for you to just imagine also all sorts of scenarios. Another thing that I really liked is Iris. So at first, when Iris accepts the fact that she has a great aunt and she decides to go and pick up this person that she has never seen in her life, she didn't even know existed, she doesn't do it, how should I put it? Imagine if this was a film. This character would be just, okay, I have a great aunt, that's wonderful, another family member, we will have so much to say to each other, to tell each other. I'm just so excited. No, Iris goes there, she decides to take her out of the hospital, take her to her house until she can, you know, find out what to do, because she's still very this is very confusing still, so she needs some time to process everything and just sort of understand what she's going to do with this person. She never has that attitude of someone who's just very glad to meet someone new for the first time. She has the attitude of someone who is suspicious. She's not comfortable. She doesn't feel safe. This person has been in a hospital for 60 years. I don't know if they're dangerous. They're weird. I like the fact that she's just so raw and true to herself. That's exactly the type of reaction I would have, and everybody else would. But I imagine this in a film would be portrayed differently. I imagine that Iris just be someone who is so happy with everything that's going on. That's not how we would behave. We would feel very concerned for our safety if you had to sleep in a house with someone who's been in a hospital for 60 years and you're not even aware, you don't even know what happened yet. She doesn't know why she was there. She would be very concerned for her safety. I would be very concerned for my safety. So I just love the fact that she's just so true. She's very realistic. I don't know if that was just very complicated to follow, but basically that's how I feel. And finally, this is just another story of how this was set, part of it in the 1930s. a lot of what girls said at the time was not taken seriously, and that's what happens to Esme. Because she had this very wild personality, it was difficult to believe her when something happened that's so serious, and everybody just thought that she was getting confused with her own stories in her head. Obviously it's unfortunate, but we know that it happened a lot back then. It was just a very raw sort of wake-up call to how someone can lose their entire life over something that some people just chose not to believe in. And you can still, you can transport this to our day and age. And it's scary. In a way, it's really scary. So this is my review of The Vanishing Act by Esme Lennox. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you'll give this book a try. Let me know down below if you have read this book. If not, if you are considering picking it up. It's just beautiful. I really think you should. There's so much in this book. I didn't even scratch the surface with this, but honestly, I want to keep most of it a secret and just let you find out for yourself. Let me know down below what you think, and I'll talk to you very, very soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.